Into life on Costa Amria and brought to you by Remax Paraíso, the experts in property sales in this corner of Spain. And today I'm in the lovely beauty salon of Francesca Girone. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. But I'm actually here to talk about Francesca's alter ego, I guess we could say, flamenco dancer, the Gitana Inglesa. So, I've got to ask you the most obvious question in the world, which is, how does a lass, who I believe you're born in Manchester, is that right?
Yes.
How does a lass born in Manchester wind up performing, keyword, performing flamenco in Andalusia?
No.
How does this...
First of all, I have to say my father had a passion for flamenco.
Right, so there was something there before, so
Yes.
this is even before you came to Spain.
This is when I was a young lady.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But something that I was not remotely interested in. And when I was about 14, my dad tried to force me to go to a flamenco club
Right.
in Malaga, and I refused to go, which I deeply regret now, because he told me that I would feel passionate about it, and I ignored him, as we do
Try telling
when
a
our
14-year-old.
when our parents tell us what
Yeah.
we should be interested in, we're not remotely interested, and I deeply regret it. So moving on, about 5 years ago, so I would be then 39. So from 14 to 39, my daughter started taking piano lessons, and I just really had a free hour that I had to wait for her. And whilst I was waiting for her, I could hear some footwork, and I didn't know what it was, but one assumed it was something to do with flamenco. So I knocked on the door, went in, and the person giving the class said that I could come in and watch. And I watched it, and I had a reaction to it.
Right, so Dad was right.
So Dad, who unfortunately now deceased, was right as always. And so the person giving the classes said that I could do one class for free and try it. So I went the following week, tried the class, and absolutely hated it.
Really?
Because I've never been anybody that I can't do aerobics classes. I never used to be able to coordinate. So I just couldn't coordinate all these instructions at one time. So I think he picked up on this and said that I could come back again, and I said no, that I'd leave it. But a few days later, he phoned me and said to me that he thought that I would be able to do it and that I had to basically come back. And I would say that within about 6 months, I was just getting into this addiction. It is an addiction.
So it was starting off with the music that kind of drew you in, and the movement.
Yeah, but knowing absolutely nothing about it, not understanding all the different palos of flamenco. In those days, also not speaking as much Spanish as I do now, so not fully. I couldn't listen to, say, the words of a song and understand. Obviously, a lot of it's in the dialect anyway.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really interpret it, but the instinct and the feeling was that it was for me.
Right. So it got into your guts, as it were.
Yeah.
You got something.
Yeah.
But so was the idea originally? Was it just kind of like it was like a pastime, like something just
Yes, like you'd go to a Zumba class, or you'd go to whatever fitness class. Initially, it was like, okay, well, this is good exercise. It's going to help me with my deportment, because of working as a beauty therapist and I'm mainly an electrologist, I've got bad posture, which has come over the years, which can happen. And he kept correcting me with my neck and my shoulders.
Right.
So I thought, well, there's benefits because it's going to correct my posture, give me better deportment, which I've always been a bit poor with my deportment and everything. But I found it terribly frustrating as well. But weirdly addictive. Weirdly addictive.
And did you find it quite hard to begin with? Because I mean, I've tried Sevillana classes many years ago back in England, and it's really hard.
I know.
It's really hard.
It's
and I
really
think if
hard.
you've not been brought up with that,
It's really hard.
natural kind of, there's a fiesta and this is the way you move, it's very hard indeed.
They say that flamenco is immense, that even if you are at the top of your profession, even the leading artists, Antonio Canales, Carmen Ledesma, all these people say that they'll still never know enough about flamenco when they die. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's something that you've got to just keep working on all the time. And Sevillana, for example, because people get confused, is folkloric, it's not flamenco.
Right.
Okay, you realise as you go along. So Sevillana for people in flamenco is considered a little bit to one. I wouldn't want to say
it's what the local people do when they're during the fiesta.
During the fiesta, it's very pretty to watch, but it's considered folkloric and not flamenco, strictly speaking.
Right.
But if you imagine how hard that is, okay, and that is so easy compared to flamenco.
Sure. Yeah, this is what ordinary people do, not
Exactly.
dancers.
Yeah. But flamenco is so hard.
But so in only 5 years, you've gone from a complete beginner with a coordination
Not understanding
problem
punto tacon, not understanding anything,
to performing a lot and wowing often Spanish audiences.
and may I say, working with some of the leading artists in Almeria.
Exactly.
Which are quite proud of.
So I mean, this is a huge change from doing it's kind of like a pastime to and when did you decide? Well, actually, I'd like to perform in public, and the Gitana Inglesa was born.
Well, when I'd completed 1 full year in this initial class, which I now realise was danza española and wasn't flamenco, okay?
Right.
So it was more, a little bit of flamenco, but more pasodobles, a little bit for tango, sevillana, but it wasn't flamenco, hondo puro. The person that was giving the class at the time was performing, and I went to watch the performance, and I have to say that I've never performed in my life either, in anything. Never. I've never been somebody who's put myself forward.
Yeah, you weren't the kid at dance school.
I was a person that stayed in the background and just wanted the least pressure part and no words, thank you, just walk on with the costume and walk off again. But when I sat and watched this person perform, it left me with this feeling that I had to get up on the stage, genuinely. And I've never been a show off. I mean, I've got a lot to say for myself, but I've never been somebody to, I want to take centre stage, I want to sing, nothing. Anyway, I then moved on because I realised that this wasn't flamenco. Moved on to another flamenco school, still in this local vicinity, I have to say.
So this is the Mojaca area?
In the Mojaca and surrounding areas, okay? And there I developed I met a young lady who was quite hungry to impart her knowledge, which is always good when you're learning something. And so I went more into the flamenco. It was in that period that she then said to me, she said, I don't know why, because you're not actually up to scratch at all, but I'm going to take you with me to do a performance in Vera, which Vera being 10 minutes from here, 15 minutes. So we did a performance, and I can honestly say to you, Catherine, I was like this. I was terrified, even though I was amongst another group of people, but I was absolutely terrified. But the feeling that I got when I did it was, if somebody now put down £1 million and said to you, that's yours, the feeling was better than that. Yeah.
So super high adrenaline buzz.
Really bizarre, just like somebody just hit you with something.
And that was it? That was
the first taste of something. Yeah. After that, I have to say that I'm very fortunate that I do have a very supportive husband who I did meet here. You can meet nice men here as well. Added bonus, I came in single and met a nice man who I got married to. Fortunately, he felt that at that point I needed to take this on to another level. So what I did was I invested a few months in being in Granada.
Wow.
And I went to the Sacromonte, which is obviously the old gypsy district of Granada. Absolutely fascinating place. And I studied with the daughter of Manolete, who's like an old Grand Maestro. He still dances.
Sure, I'm sure many people watching this will have heard. So I mean, this is
suddenly I've got this lady just stood and looked at me and said, "What have you been learning? Because it's not good enough." Putting it politely. She said to me, "Eres gitana como yo," and I went, "I can see." She put me in the mirror, stood next to her and said, "You're the same as me, look at you, you don't look any different to me, your spirit's the same, and I'm going to show you how to dance flamenco." She made my feet bleed.
Really? Gosh, so you have been suffering for this.
I have suffered from my heart, Catherine. And it was quite a surreal experience. It was very frustrating, and it still is very frustrating, I have to say. Flamenco can cause you more heartache and pain than moments of joy, I can assure you, no matter who you are, if you're really passionate about it, because it's so hard and it requires so much of somebody. So I was there with her for quite a few months. It was a very expensive investment because I had to pay for accommodation, taking time out of working, etc, etc. And I reached a point where I felt that maybe I was being a little bit too indulgent, because I have got children as well, and I felt a bit selfish, if I'm honest. So I decided that the best thing to do was then to look at Almeria capital. As we both know, it's a wonderful capital.
It is indeed, yeah.
45-50 minutes on the motorway from here, old quarter, fascinating, Alcazaba. It's got its historical content, and I thought logically there has to be a flamenco scene in Almeria, even though it's not spoken about and it's still very
hidden. It doesn't have the fame of Sevilla or Granada or Cordoba,
but the advantage is it doesn't have the commercial aspect.
Right, of course, yes. Yeah.
Anyway, I did a long hard search because names that were coming up, and suddenly through one of the flamenco peñas, El Morato in Almeria, which is one of the, Los Tarantes is the oldest one, but it's one of the old established ones, a selection of videos came up, and I saw a person and her dancing just blew me away, and I thought, that is the woman that I need to be with.
Yeah.
This woman she's the one that made me La Gitana.
Right.
The day that you're good enough, your artistic name is La Gitana Inglesa. She goes, you're more gypsy than the gypsies that I know.
So this is a real compliment, obviously.
This is a great compliment, but they go off your spirit. And when I said to her, I thought you said that there were no lessons, she said, I can make an exception for somebody like you.
Wow.
So it was really like, wow. And she broke me down. She's had me in tears. She's chucked me out of classes.
Oh God.
You do not know
this. Still, you've carried on.
Yeah. So, and that's really who I'd say I've been developing with. And she has also a cousin who has, since she was about 16, been part of the royal the Royal Flamenco Ballet, really.
Right.
Been part of the company of Sarah Barras. So they've worked with leading people.
Yeah.
She's now retired, semi-retired at 27. Yeah, because she's burnt out. So we've had the benefit that in the last 2 years she's been giving us technical classes. So it's been a bit of a luxury.
I am very, very, very impressed by that. Extraordinarily impressed. So you've got
In Almeria.
Really relatively very short time
Yeah.
from being total beginner
Rookie.
to this incredible level. Learning from some of the most
People that have got very high level.
famous, most highly respected people in the country, more than in the country. And and performing, as I say, 2 Spanish people with, and of course it's not just you, when you perform as part of an ensemble,
Yeah,
that's the right
yeah.
way of putting it.
A quadra flamenco.
Yeah.
I think that the public enjoys seeing the whole group interacting constantly and nobody actually being the protagonist. Actually, between 5 people, everybody's equally important. Now the guy's the singer who is very, 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 very well known, and he really has got a big name.
So that we can
Edu Garcia.
Right.
And his brother Antonio sometimes sings for me, and Antonio's like the absolute winner of the whole of Andalusia under 27s and superb, really renowned. Edu said to me the other night that it isn't right that I'm not the protagonista.
Yeah.
And he said, why do you let us all dominate the performance? And I went, because I think that makes it more authentic for people.
Right.
And he said, he goes, we really appreciate it because you are not like, well, I'm the star of the show and you're just there. He goes, but generally that's the format.
And it does work. If anyone's seen the show,
exactly,
it does work.
Well, the other night after we'd finished, I had the nicest compliment ever because a lady who's never seen any flamenco and came in to see me here and said that she'd had quite an emotional experience afterwards. She said, not least by the fact that the guys in my group are a bit hot totty. None of them are unpleasant to look at, should we say, and that she felt that she'd been past a house and a gypsy party was going on, una juerga flamenca, and that she'd just seen a door open and she'd seen it all going on. And I said to that is the best compliment ever.
I wish I thought of that. Because it's true, it is. It's like you just kind of stumble across something which is going on, and it's really, really real.
And spontaneous.
And
spontaneous.
It doesn't look, it's like, exactly, that it's just like people enjoying
because it
themselves.
is spontaneous, because when we sit down, basically I don't rehearse with these guys. They live in Almeria, they're all from La Chanca in the Pescaderia, which is the gypsy barrio.
Absolutely,
there's a distance between us obviously, even though I go to Almeria a lot, but there's nowhere where we can practice together. And at first it was awful and it was nerve-wracking and it was just horrible, but it's reached a point where it's put me so on my toes. So what I have in my head is all different things that I could possibly do, but I don't exactly know what I'm going to do until we get going. So what does that make it? It makes it fresh, it makes it always slightly different. I have some ladies who come every single time we perform. One of them was here earlier and she said to me, I've never actually seen the same performance in its entirety twice. And I went, thank you, because that's the idea. I don't know what the guys are going to sing. I don't tell them what to sing. Normally the dancer will tell them. I just think as long as it's coming from them, they're enjoying it. If they're enjoying it, the audience is enjoying it.
The show that it's rehearsed to look spontaneous. But that's actually just, it really is that must be terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Performing with these great musicians and performing a lot, I have to say, and really getting the most amazing reactions from audiences.
We've done 46 performances, I think, since the last year.
I was going to say, exactly, fast-tracked in as somebody who started in their 30s, which is incredible.
Late 30s, well, 40s.
About 20.
40. I really have been, these performances I started doing with these guys at the end of last year, so then I would be 43 43, nearly 44.
Obviously, so doesn't look it.
Well, thank you.
Of course, you are.
I need to know.
Exactly.
But before that, for 2 years, I worked live with a guy called Jose Contreras as well, who is a genius from Roquetas. And again, I was really green, and but I learned a lot with him as well. And those are things you cannot learn in an academy.
Well, this is, I guess, it's like learning on the job. It's the best way, isn't it?
Apprenticeship, it's terrifying. Yeah.
Kind of, a little bit sort of baptism by fire, but clearly the way to go.
Yeah.
So where
quite
can
a lot
people
in
see you?
the Fatima's restaurant, which again is outstanding.
Yes.
Breathtaking place. When I took the guys up there, they all nearly fainted.
It is gorgeous.
They were like, "Where have you brought us? This is like something off a film."
Yeah.
And they're from here.
Yeah.
But even they couldn't believe how gorgeous it was. So we tend to go up there, not all the time, but from time to time for events. In this area, as we both know, there's loads of fabulous restaurants, loads of fabulous bars. We do the Lua Group, so Pura Vida, which is a fabulous eating and drinking venue.
Right next to the Remax office, of course.
Yeah, perfect. But also fab venue because you get a really good mixed crowd, you get lots of Spaniards in there, you get lots of different nationalities, and you get an enthusiastic crowd, and then we get a great crowd in there. So Pura Vida, we do Lua Puerto Rey, which is in Vera, beautiful beach club, great place where people are on holiday. We've just got bookings for Reina Mora as well for the winter.
So this is great because it's going to be not because a lot of things
not
do
just
kind
a
of
season.
stop, don't you, in the winter, but of course this is a great thing, we can see you.
Exactly. I mean obviously there's less than there is in the summer because it's a financial consideration for the bars and restaurants. Pulcinella, beautiful Italian restaurant. Playa Blanca, we're doing this Friday. We do that quite regularly. Il Giardino, which is another Italian restaurant. Masco in the Parque Comercial. We always do we always do Mondays, get a really good family venue. Lovely when people are on holiday, they bring their kids. I always get all the little kids out to dance. We get quite a lot of English kids who will come and great little dancers. So that's really like a family night. So a real mix. Somebody's just contacted me for something in Carboneras as well.
So different nights and different venues. There's
different
always
crowds.
Worth keeping an eye on the local posters, local press.
Exactly.
Your Facebook page. You have a Facebook page.
Yes. I've just set up actually. I've got Flamenco Forum for English speakers for people who are generally interested in flamenco. I put things in there. I go to Jerez a lot on courses as well. Jerez is considered. People say Sevilla, Granada. Jerez. Jerez is the cradle of flamenco. This place is just different. People in the know go to Jerez to study, but again I've only stumbled across this in the last few years. So every year we go in February to the Festival of Flamenco of Jerez. It's a world-class festival. You get people from all over the world. It's mind blowing.
You don't have to be a born and bred Gitana or Andaluz to have to
This
find
passion
within yourself this fire and this passion, which of course is really at the basis of it. It's the
which
heart
is
of
fundamental.
Flamenco,
Which is fundamental. So on this page, Flamenco Forum for English speakers, I put videos I've recorded in Jerez, I've recorded live, maybe in a Peña, or St. Nicolas, Peña La Bulería, 4 o'clock in the morning, video that, get the atmosphere, and I stick it on there. So the great clips, or I put information about Palo Flamenco, so the people have got more information. Then so that's Flamenco Forum for English speakers, Mojaca. Then I've just set up Flamenco in Mojaca, just to promote our performances so that people have got dates, etc. I'll put videos just of what we've done from the last performance,
so I need to remember Flamenco
in Mojaca. That's on Facebook. And then I've also done it in Spanish, Flamenco Mojaca. So I've done the same page but in Spanish, just so no one gets confused.
So you've got a real enthusiasm for sort of spreading the flamenco word to everybody.
And sharing information. It's really about sharing information.
And encouraging others to also take this plunge. People who maybe thought they never had it in themselves. Because if someone had said to you 5 years ago, you'll be performing flamenco
no way
in front of an audience, what would you say?
Even maybe 3 years ago, absolutely no way. No way. And I also give classes on a Sunday morning Yeah.
Here in Oaxaca?
Yeah. Which has only come from people coming up at the end of the show and going, I want to learn a bit of that. So I just said, well, I'm not a qualified teacher, but I'm good at explaining because I understand the frustrations. So I've been giving classes for a year, just on a Sunday morning.
For complete beginners or whoever?
Complete beginners. And I've had English ladies and Spanish ladies. English ladies who have picked it up like that, over the age of 50, some of them, absolutely fantastic. Because if you transmit energy and enthusiasm to somebody, and they've got an instinct for it,
right?
You've just got. I read something really interesting the other day, and it said, and it was a famous flamenco artist who said, flamenco is completely open and has no prejudices. The problem is the people around flamenco who have the prejudices. And I thought, absolutely spot on.
Right.
It's open. It's for every nationality. It's for every age group. They consider that you don't even know anything about flamenco until you're 50 because you haven't lived. They believe that your life in flamenco begins at 50, which is very encouraging when you're hurtling towards that. When you're not 21 anymore, they consider you can't possibly interpret it properly because you haven't had enough life experience, you haven't had your ups and downs, you haven't had your knocks, and so
you've got to have suffered a bit, in other words.
Yeah, because how can you get out and, for example, interpret a soleá, which is it's a dance of sobriety, it's not cheerful. If you're acting it out, it's not real. But if you stand there, and again, I remember with my teacher, she said, think of the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to you. And I said, well, I don't really want to. And she said, but you got to. She said, you got to, and you got to put it in that dance. And you've just got to stop. And even if you've got a restaurant of 70 people, half of whom you know, and it can be really embarrassing because you think, I know them, or I've just been having a chat with them before I've gone on stage. You just got to cut off and think. Put yourself in the zone. What is this actually about? Otherwise, it's false. And if it's false, you don't transmit anything to anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, that this is a more genuine thing. It would be hard to find, to watch. I mean, it's an extraordinary experience watching you dance. It really is.
And the guys as well, how they sing. That the guy Edu, how he sings. He's 23, but when he sings, it could be the pain of a man of 80 because they've had hard lives.
Yeah.
And they put that into what they're doing. At the same time, he can get the crowd up like that when he wants to.
Yeah.
When in the second half, we always we start light, then we go heavy, and then we go party. And they can change it like that, and that's what keeps people's interest.
And how do you feel when you come? Is it possible to kind of sum up why you do it? I mean, why do you? Because you say to yourself, it's a lot of suffering. You're a very busy lady. You have your own business. You have a family. Why do you do it?
Because it keeps my spirit alive, and it keeps my fire burning.
Yeah.
And it absolutely fascinates me. And the more I see, the hungrier I am. It is like a drug. And they say that it is, people say, engancha, it hooks you. Yeah. El flamenco te engancha. It's true. It's just like somebody, I've never taken a drug in my life, I'd like to say, I'm not even a smoker, I'm completely clean living, I don't even know if they drink any alcohol, but it's like the same as a junkie who needs a fix. They compare it to drugs and religion. It's completely addictive, and it can make you actually feel like you're going a bit mad.
Wow.
Which I have feel that I am a bit mad from it, but it's like a good madness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the people who it's great that you caught this madness, because it's an amazing thing to watch. So anybody who's not caught Francesca performing, I can't recommend it enough.
Thank you.
You have to get out there and see it.
Thank you. And as I say, we've always got something new.
Yeah.
We've always got something going on, or bring somebody new into the group, or something to just change the dynamic all the time, so that we're not stale, and the audience isn't getting bored, and then we're fresh with it, so that comes across.
Well, I think the fan club's growing. You've got your groupies.
Yeah, and the guys have got the groupies too. Yeah.
Well, keep on dancing. Keep on feeling the passion and feeling the fire.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you to you, Catherine.